How's it going, everyone? My name is Nick Lanza and this is the Fatter Dapper. Today I'm actually going to be looking at a few of the fragrances found in this here Memo Paris journey book. The ones that we are specifically looking at today will be Irish leather, French leather, and of course African leather. I do want to put it out there that I am not a chemist or fragrance expert. I'm just a guy that really enjoys the stuff, and of course will be providing my own review as a consumer and not as someone who's trying to recreate this in a lab or anything like that. That said, if you want my knee-jerk initial reaction having never smelled the fragrances we're looking at today, go check out my Instagram at the Fatter Dapper, and you will find the few videos that I made where they were just literally spray the thing in the air and get a whiff and start talking about it and experiencing it. That said, I'm going to take this jacket off. Let's go ahead and jump right in. For the first fragrance that I would like to review, let's talk about Irish leather. Got myself a little note card here that says Irish leather on it, and I'm just going to spray this straight on there. Nothing fancy to it. I'm just trying to get a sense of the scent. And already, oh man, I love this smell. Oh, I love this smell. Out the gate, very much feels like a gin and tonic put into a cologne. You get some of that alcohol, but then really that gin juniper smell comes through very, very nicely. It's clean, it has like a nice mild spice to it that's not intense. It's not crazy present, but it's kind of there in the background to just remind you like, hey, I'm still here. To me, this smells like a good night out. This is just you and a couple of friends in a nice intimate setting, just enjoying each other's company, maybe sharing a couple of drinks. That's what this reminds me of. As time wears on, as it's now been a few minutes and I've been flapping it around a bit, the leather starts to make itself known. It's not the initial thing that comes forward, it's kind of more along the way. And as this continues to dry, the like warm tones really start to show themselves, and it really starts to settle in, has that aftershave quality to it that's real nice. This is just a good time. For me personally, this is like an easy 9 out of 10. I really enjoy this. I actually wear it now using just the sampler for right now, but eventually I'll get the full bottle. This stuff is great. This is something that you don't need a lot of. The room now very much has this aroma in the space. The juniper berry smell is very present. And honestly, if you're a fan of like gin and tonics or just that kind of flavor palette, this is going to appeal to you quite a lot. This is something that I could easily see someone wearing to work. I myself am actually going to be going to a business meeting later today, and I'm definitely going to be happy wearing this to that said meeting. Both a formal and informal scent at the same time. It kind of has a good range and spectrum to it. I will be the first to say that. Easily a solid 9 out of 10. Like, this is fantastic. After a very quick refresh with a little thing of coffee, we are now moving on to French leather. There we go. Each of these I'm only doing 2 spritz of onto this note card, and each one's labeled with their own name, as you can see. Oh my goodness. 2 words out the door: barber shop. Like, quite literally out the gate, the first thing I think of in my mind's eye, the picture I get when I smell this is those old school traditional barber shops where they put the powder into the cup and they start stirring it around and make the shaving cream and the aftershave and the leather strap on the barber's blade. Like, that's what this smells like. This smells like an old school barber shop. And it's so good. Even as it dries down, that baby powder aspect is still there, and it's not a bad thing. It is working really well. The alcohol-y aspects are not as present on this one, like the Irish leather, and it's very, very clean, like fresh linen. Every so often you get like a mild orange or citrine hit in the background. I love this scent. I love this scent so much. I quite literally have said in my reviews that the Irish leather is a 9 out of 10 and this right here is an 8.5. And honestly, now that I'm doing it again, I might have to amend it to make it a 9 out of 10 as well. There is so much that I love about this. It's very clean, very much easily something I could wear to work. I don't have to necessarily worry about spraying a lot of it because a little goes a long way. And I actually wore this a few days ago, just going around town, and I definitely noticed some head turns because I would walk by and there's like, hey, ooh, like it definitely gets the attention. Definitely would be something I'd wear to work. I'd honestly probably wear this every day because as a daily driver, it just has a presence. You know when someone walks in the room wearing the right amount of this because this is really good just as it sits. There were some complaints online about the minerally aspect of it, but honestly, if you don't overspray it, this does really, really well. This is another one of those scents where you don't need a lot to get that good, fresh smell out of it. If you use too much, it obviously is going to be overbearing. For me, 2 hits of this and I was done. I didn't need to go more than that. Some people are like, oh, you need like 5 or 6 out of some of these good ones. No, a lot of these Memo Parises have been dead on with just the 2 shot and you're done. Easily, I'm gonna amend my score from what I said originally. I do like this even better. This is still an 8.5, but I think I would put it back up to a 9. For the last of the fragrances for today, we are gonna be looking at African leather. Let's get this guy going. 2 spritz. 1, 2. Immediately, it just fills the room with spices and beautiful aromatics, woody tones. This is such a good fragrance. This I had rated a 10 out of 10 because it tickles all of the boxes for me. Spicy, minerally amberish hits in there. You get that cardamom, cinnamon hit. It's, oh my goodness. There's also like this light, sweet aspect that comes through. This is just walking through a spice market. Oh my goodness. I will say out of all of them, this is one of the few that's a little bit of a misnomer because the leather smell is not as present in this one as it is in the other 2. But I love this. Has that musky, patchouli, oudish, woody smell, that cedary niceness mixed with the spices. This is a masterpiece of quality fragrance. There's only a handful of fragrances I've ever touched in my time of doing this type of stuff over the last 10 years that has made me just stop and just bask in its aroma and made me just not talk. And this is one of them. Even in my review, when I'd first sprayed it, again, just off the cuff, sprayed it into the air just to, see what I got. And it just took me out. It was so good. That review might only be 2 minutes long or whatever it is on Instagram, but it was like 10 minutes of film work. It's warm, it's comfortable, it's comforting, but it's also got this just kind of sexy, spicy edge to it that just makes you go, ooh, okay, all right. You walk into a club or into a nice restaurant and you are definitely gonna have heads turn. Because this just brings a presence to it where it's like, I am here. I stand by what I said in my initial reviews. Still a 10 out of 10, and I definitely plan to buy a model of this because, oh my goodness, it sticks around too. I actually wore this yesterday to church. I was visiting with my local assembly, and some people definitely were like, looking around going, what is that? Who is that? Who's wearing that? But better still, when I got home and took my suit off and started to get undressed to be a little more casual to go visit with my parents, it was still there. I did not need to reapply it, and that was 6 hours later. And it was still going. It was still vibing. I didn't spray it into the shirt or anything like that. I just sprayed it on my bare skin, and it just kept on cruising. This is a long-lasting fragrance that does not need a lot of help because of how strong and potent it is. Again, this is a proper eau de parfum. They last a long time from what I'm gathering from my experience with this. And yeah, 10 out of 10. If you want something that's very strong, very present, and just kind of commanding, you're gonna like this. If you're wanting something that's a little bit lighter and not as intense, I would say lean towards the French or the Irish because they do have a little less strength than the African leather does. If you really like that barbershop kind of smell, that aftershave smell, stick with the French. If you like something that's a little bit more green, better suited towards spring and summer, go ahead and get the Irish. But if you want something that has a loud presence, something that's gonna definitely turn heads, African. And that's all I've got for you today. I know I took my suit jacket off to kind of get this video started. A lot of that's because I didn't want all the fragrances in my suit, because I do need to use it a couple times this week and don't have the time to go to the dry cleaner. Secondarily, I do have a few more fragrances that are on my shelf that I will also be providing reviews for, as you will have seen them in my Get Ready With Me's pretty often, actually. That said, what are your guys' opinions on these? Do you enjoy them? Let me know down in the comments section. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'm not an expert per se. I'm just a guy who really enjoys this stuff. So I'll do my best to answer whatever you got. But without further ado, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys on another episode. Peace.